I'd like to have an argument, please. How to make winning arguments for the Common Core Regents and for life. Hi, I'm Mr. Fleck. Thanks for joining us. You know, an argument is more than just fighting. In fact, a lot of times it takes more than suiting up and getting ready to duke things out to win an argument. An argument is actually a series of statements to establish a proposition. So it's more than just establishing who's right or wrong. To make a good argument, you have to appeal to a reasonable person. And the winner is usually the one who can convince a reasonable person through evidence that their view of things is most likely to be true. So you have to be smart. Argument is actually an intellectual process. It's not like contradiction where you just say no to whatever your opponent has to say. A 2-year-old can do that. So how do we make good arguments? Well, luckily for us, a long, long time ago in ancient Greece, a guy named Aristotle came up with 3 appeals. He called them logos, ethos, and pathos. Translated for us today, that means logic, ethics, and the appeal to feelings or emotions. Let's start with logic. It's a process from getting A to B that makes sense. If I throw a baseball at you, and if it hits you in the head, then the most likely result is you're going to be mad at me. So when you see if-then statements, you know that logic is being used. Now let's look at the idea of ethics and the appeal to ethics. Simply defined, ethics is the right thing to do. It appeals to our sense of justice. So let's say I have a huge lunch, more than I can eat. And let's say that somebody next to me is very hungry with nothing to eat. Well, ethically, I should fix this situation by sharing my lunch with them. Theoretically, that'll make us both happy. Of course, cultural rights and wrongs are not always so easily defined, as our current political system shows us every day. Now let's go with pathos, the appeal to the emotions or to our feelings. The stuff that makes us happy, or the stuff that makes us sad. Pathos is actually the root word for sympathy, I'm sorry for you, empathy, I know your pain, or pathology, I'm sick. These arguments appeal to the stuff that makes us wonder, or the stuff that scares us, or perhaps the stuff that makes us think, and a lot of times the stuff that makes us mad. So now that we've mastered these 3 things, we can win arguments because we know how to use these appeals, and we recognize these appeals when they're used by our opponents. So what comes next? Well, now we have to talk about counter-argument. That's where you shoot down your opponent's argument. But we'll save that for another time. Once again, I'm Mr. Fleck, and I thank you for joining us in this presentation.